So the topic for this morning is handling receiving issues. And I said in this one, really my main target audience is like warehouse supervisors, branch managers. So with this one, I'm kind of assuming a certain level of knowledge. I'm not, in my 15 minutes, I'm not going to go into the mechanics of what you do on the RF gun, So this is a little bit higher level. Um, and then what I'm trying to finish this week, but I want to make sure I have get good input from purchasing, accounts payable, everybody. But I'm working on like this 1-page handout, which summarizes how to handle different receiving scenarios. So I'm trying to get this out this week, and then I'm going to email it to all the branches and ask that it could be printed and stuck next to the receiving computer. And we're going to we'll step through these different scenarios. But basically, I broke out um, over shipments where we get more than what was shown on the packing slip for EDI 856, under shipments, also called short shipments, what to do when you get the wrong product, what to do when you get damaged product. And in about 2 minutes, we'll start stepping through these. But anyhow, so we'll spend most of our time talking about Corp and how to handle these situations for Corp, because that's where the vast majority of our product comes from. But then on my handout here, I also break it down for non-Corp vendors where the pay to is not Johnstone Supply, So we're talking Southwark, Ream, BJ Taroni, Snappy. So there are some differences we'll talk through. And then finally, transfers, how we handle these different situations when it's between two of our branches on a transfer. Okay, so again, this is going to be a little bit higher level, but I am going to go into solar because, of course, when you're receiving product, you're working on the gun, but then when you run into these scenarios, you're going to walk over to a computer. So for corp orders, we have to receive what they show as shipped on the EDI 856, the electronic packing slip. But then, of course, we address the situation. So let's say let's say that they show on a purchase order we're supposed to get 10 of this certain condensate pump. If they only ship us 9, then we need to go ahead and receive all 10. But then what you're going to do from solar in the purchase order, you're going to go edit order, ship dates, new. I just use, today's, well, it's already August 2nd, today's date. And on this generation, you're going to do the correction. And we have to do this because Corp is going to invoice us for what they say they sent. So in order for us to pay the bill and not create a lot of extra work, like I said, we first receive what they show as shipped, but then we tack on this new generation to do the correction. So if they shorted me one of, I think it was this, one of these, I'm going to put -1 of that product. And then I'm going to go in and receive that generation as well. So if you put these two things together, they ship me 9, I receive the 10 that they show as shipped, but then this next generation is -1. So I am telling Eclipse that I only got 9, but for accounts payable purposes, I have to break it out into these two different generations. And then you're going to go in and receive that generation you did there. Um, overages are easier. So oftentimes, I mean, please check your EDI 856s before you receive so that you can update your purchase order if they do round up to box quantity or something. But if the EDI 856 in this example shows 10 and um, they truly ship me 12, then I want to receive um, the 12. Um, but similar to what we just did, I'm going to save time by not like creating a bunch of new POs. So let's say the example where they ship me 12, same idea on a new generation. I go in and I account for the difference. In this case, I'm receiving in another 2. Okay, bear with me. Trying to keep using the same example to save time here. If they ship you the wrong product, so the EDI 856 showed 10 of this condensate pump, but they maybe they only shipped me 8 of those, then, oops, sorry, I would originally receive all 10, but then I would add new generations to address what they actually shipped me and if I was shorted. So let's say they shorted me 2 of those. Okay, so there's a correction. Go in, receive that. Yep. Now, if they ship me the wrong product, then I need that also on a separate generation. So edit order, ship dates, new, just using today's date. So let's say for whatever reason they ship me 2 of a different product. I'm just going to use a different model number condensate pump here. Then again, I need to tell Eclipse what I actually got. So the overall concept is you got to receive what they show as shipped, but then you add new generations to address overshipments, undershipments, or getting the wrong product. Okay, so again, I'm putting these in my notes for this handout I'm trying to get out this week. I wasn't gonna really go into it on this call, but when you get these missed shipments, then you need to go on to we'll go there for just a minute. You need to go on to Gen and file the claim. If you're not familiar with this, you could reach out to me like after the call. But when you go into Gen, forms, warehouse shipment discrepancy. I will point out just a couple quick things here. So you have to indicate which distribution it was coming from, which store. Broomall's like my home branch, so for me it defaults to DJ. But if I was the one filing this claim, I would want to change the email address here, and then you just kind of fill out the form. But whatever it is. So again, if anybody needs help with that, you could reach out to me after the call. But for my one-page notes, I am going to reference these things like filing discrepancies on Gen. I just wasn't going to step through it all right now. If you do get the wrong product or your shorted product, you're also going to want to reach out to purchasing if you still need that product. If it's for stock and you just got shorted a little bit and you're not about to run out of it, then maybe don't bother. But if a customer is waiting for a product, then of course you need to make sure you're going to get that product in for them. All right, so now I'm going to do a little bit of compare and contrast. We've been talking about corp orders, which is where most of our stuff comes from. And for non-corp vendors, and what I mean by that, I think I have one open. By non-corp, I mean when you're in a purchase order in the upper left where it says remit to, if it does not say Johnstone Supply, then this is what I'm calling a non-corp vendor, like Southwark. So similar, but a little bit different. Get this out of the way. Again, if Southwark or whoever, they ship you more than what they show on the packing slip, same idea, add a new purchase order generation to receive that overage. Um, here's something different. If Southwark or another non-corp vendor, if they short ship you, here you're just going to receive what you actually got. So if they, let me go back in there. So, but I had that Southwark. Yep, here we go. So I mean, I would be doing this on the RF gun, but if they show that they shipped 5 of this reducer and I only got 4, I'm going to receive 4. So that's different than corp. And when we run into these discrepancies, misshipments, we're going to want to reach out to purchasing, specifically the person who wrote the PO, which you can easily find on the, you could go into the change log, but also just in the header screen of a purchase order, it shows who wrote the order. So you're going to want to reach out to the PO writer and also to your accounts payable contact, telling them about these discrepancies. And really, job queuing is the best way, and give as much detail as possible. You know, vendor packing slips showed they shipped this much, we only got this much. If it's something you were able to catch when you were unloading the truck and were able to note it on the bill of lading, that's good information to have as well for purchasing an AP. So yeah, if they send you the wrong product, same thing as corp, you're going to receive that additional product on another generation. When it comes to damages, I'll say generally speaking, you know, if you catch it during receiving, you know, like actually when it's coming off the truck and you can take pictures of it and note it on the bill of lading, that's all great. Then it's a little bit situational and purchasing can help you, but then you're either going to file with the carrier, the trucking company, or with the vendor. It just kind of depends on the situation. Okay, final category, transfers. So when we're sending product amongst ourselves using transfers, just a couple of points. You want to receive what you physically got, but you as the receiving branch, please, let me open up a transfer. Please only put these quantities in the received quantities of the transfer, not the shipped. Let me just bring up a transfer for us to look at. Hold on. So in a transfer, you know, there's ship quantity is what the shipping branch shows, and then receive quantity. So if you have some kind of discrepancy where you got more than what shows as shipped, or you got less, or you got something different, if you're the receiving branch, please only change the quantities in the receiving column. Then what Eclipse what Eclipse does on a transfer, I did 0, it just blanks it out. What Eclipse does when there's a difference between ship quantities and received quantities, that's what creates a disputed transfer. So, all of our branches, hopefully daily, are looking at disputed transfers to try to address these situations. Let's see. If you got the wrong product in the receiving branch, then you would need to go in and add that product to the transfer. But again, only put the quantity in the received quantity. Okay. Final thing that's going to be on my handout. This is something I know we handle a little differently, different branches in our company, but what we need to move towards is when we receive in damaged product, we need to account for that. We need to tell Eclipse that we got that damaged product. If we just zero it out, then it's kind of like, well, where is it? But at the same time, we don't want to receive it in as good product because then Eclipse thinks that we can sell it. So what I want us to work towards is if you're receiving in a transfer and there's damaged product, then when you're on the RF gun and receive put away, you can tell Eclipse that you're receiving something in as F for defective or R for review. I'd like to ask people to receive in damaged transfers as review. That way it goes to the return goods queue and it has some visibility there. Also, though, sometimes we receive in product on a transfer and it's just a little scratched, it's surface level. Then, of course, if you're the receiving branch, please see if the customer will accept that product and maybe just discount it a little bit so that we're not dealing with sending product back and forth. So if you can note that as a comment on the product on a transfer, damaged but sellable, damaged and not sellable, if you want to add a little more detail about what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the ability to unmute. One moment. I know I covered a lot of ground. Again, that's why I'm trying to kind of produce this one pager. The quick guide, it's about a 16-page document at this point. I call it the Receiving Bible. Has all like the RF steps and most of the solar stuff that I showed you. I think I left everybody speechless. Angel.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Did I miss anything important?
Yeah, if you get something from either Corp or an outside company, another vendor, and if you don't mark that short right away or damaged right away on their slip, they're probably not going to honor it.
Yeah.
But you got to catch that right away and note it on your bill of landing, because if you don't note it, I know with Goodman and pretty much everyone else that you deal with, if you miss it and don't note it on that bill of landing and before the truck driver leaves, you're pretty much out in the wind there.
I got a question for the group, because I get like Broomall's like my home branch, so they get their number of our branches, they get their Corp orders delivered overnight, in the middle of the night, so nobody's there, and then they come in the morning. I don't think Mike's on this call, but I was kind of wondering about that. So then, I guess
the Corp orders are different. I'm talking more about the stuff we get from Goodman or the outside, direct from the vendor.
Yeah, if you can catch it.
Like if you catch it in the morning with a cork order, they're gonna honor it, and if you go a different direction there. But if it gets delivered to your facility and you don't catch it before that truck leaves, they're not gonna honor that.
And I know that's tough, right? Because that driver wants to get the hell out of there, but
Right.
Have them get a cup of coffee.
Right.
For the transfer disputes, so what I'm talking about. Hold on, I have the widget here somewhere. Because actually, we just closed out or trying to close out July. So I was actually just working with a branch on a disputed transfer. But let's go back. So when you go into the transfer register queue, I'm in the training account, so I don't know. I'm just going to go from all to all, but you would do this, from all to your branch. You would run it one way, and then from your branch to all. Yeah, I ran it for the whole company here. Let's see here. But by having on a transfer, if the receive quantity is different than the ship quantity, that's what triggers it to come in here. And I know we can't always jump on these the same day, but it's something we want to try to stay on top of as much as possible, because after a week or two goes by and you're working with the other branch trying to figure out what happened, it just gets harder and harder as time goes